Choosing between the Porsche Macan S and the Audi SQ5 is a bit like choosing between fries or wedges. Sure, they're both potato-based, but they have different flavours and textures. So which one's better? And which team are you on? Team Audi or Team Porsche? And while you're here, don't forget to like, subscribe and leave a comment. All right, let's tuck in and find out. Despite sharing the same platform architecture and having almost the exact same length, width and footprint, these corporate cousins have one major difference: engine type. The SQ5 Sportback gets a diesel V6, while the Porsche Macan S has a petrol V6. And while the $106,000 Porsche is a cheaper vehicle when you look at the base price compared to the $116,000 Audi, the Macan is an eye-popping $12,000 more than the SQ5 thanks to copious optional extras. The Audi features this new coupe-like rear end styling, hence the Sportback name, and you get this lovely roof spoiler here, and some other major features include these exhaust outlets. Only thing is, they're not real. The actual exhaust pipe is hidden under here. Shame on you, Audi, shame on you. The big 21-inch alloy wheels look cool, and up front the vehicle gets a sporty design with plenty of chrome, even for the side mirrors. Despite having a claimed higher ground clearance, the Porsche looks a bit sportier because, well, it's a Porsche, and it's got real quad exhaust pipes. The 911 turbo-inspired 21-inch alloy wheels are optional, and while the front end isn't as edgy and aggressive, it still has loads of road presence. The Audi's turbo diesel V6 engine generates a lot more torque than the Porsche's twin-turbo petrol V6, 36% more torque to be precise. But the Porsche generates more power, which ultimately makes it faster in a straight line. The Porsche's transmission plays its part too. The 7-speed dual-clutch auto able to change gears quicker than the conventional epicyclic or Tiptronic 8-speed cog swapper in the Audi. Both sporty SUVs employ all-wheel drive systems. Modern Audi interior design blends luxury and simplicity to great effect, and while it doesn't have the biggest screen or the fanciest dash design, it is a lovely place to spend time. The light grey leather Nappa seats with diamond quilting and black stitching look amazing and offer good comfort and decent lateral support too. They're power adjustable, as is the sporty steering wheel. You get a few S logos here and there to remind you that this is an athlete, and there's very few cheap exposed plastics. Storage solutions aren't too bad, with twin mid-size spring-loaded cup holders, decent door pockets, USB A and C ports, and a 12-volt socket, but not much incidental storage. The sliding wireless phone charger is a cool feature, but compromises access to the small centre bin. The 10.1-inch central touchscreen looks a little bit like an afterthought perched on the dash. I think it was a good idea 6 years ago, but it's starting to age a little bit. However, it is very sharp and the menu system is super easy to use. It's well laid out, it's got good functionality and loads of depth as well. Tech heads will love the 12.3-inch digital driver's display with its crystal clear graphics, plenty of customizability and class-leading satellite mapping. It's easily one of the best systems out there. There's also a good quality head-up display, wired Android Auto, wireless Apple CarPlay, a thumping 19-speaker Bang & Olufsen stereo, and the touch-sensitive climate controls are neat, tidy, and intuitive. Front and rear parking sensors are in there, along with high-res, reversing, and 360-degree parking cameras. There's loads of different angles available, and although you can't manipulate the view like some rivals, the car will park itself with pretty good precision. Okie dokie, welcome to the Porsche cabin, where style and sophistication are kind of missing. It doesn't quite have the energy and vibe of the Audi cockpit. I mean, look at the gear shifter. Ugh. There are some areas where the Porsche wins. such as this gorgeous new power-operated steering wheel pilfered from the 911, complete with adrenaline selector, and also the touch-sensitive controls around the gear shifter. And while the optional Porsche Sport seats don't look quite as fancy, they are more comfortable and deliver better lateral support, complete with adjustable side bolsters. The optional smooth leather is nicer too, a little more supple, and the quality of cabin materials are pretty good, on par with the Audi. Storage areas in the Audi are not great, but the Porsche is just as grim. You get slightly larger cup holders, similar door pockets, and very little incidental storage. The central bin is smaller and there are 2 USB-C ports, but no 12-volt socket or wireless phone charger. The 10.9-inch central touchscreen is a little wider than the Audi and is more neatly integrated into the dash, and I like the fact it senses when your finger gets close. And the graphics are probably a little bit sharper too, but the menu system is more complex and takes longer to figure out. The Porsche's driver display is only partially digital, with twin analog gauges and one small digital screen on the right-hand side with pretty crappy graphics. And while the Macan is showing its age after 3 facelifts, I actually quite like the old school gauges. Equipment levels cannot match the Audi, with no head-up display, no Android Auto, and the Bose 14-speaker stereo ain't as good as the Audi setup either. The climate controls take longer to manipulate as well. There's 360-degree parking cameras and reverse parking cameras, and the system is very similar to the Audi. Perhaps the reversing camera is not quite as crisp, but again, there's no 360 movement on the surround view camera, but you do have a selection of different angles if you want, and again, there is an auto parking system as well. Comparing the interiors of the two vehicles, the Audi is a cut above overall, thanks to more standard features and more technology, and the Porsche's lack of Android Auto and wireless phone charging is a cardinal sin. The safety story is much the same, with some of the standard features on the Audi costing extra on the Porsche. However, both miss out on traffic sign recognition. The back seat of the Audi is really quite spacious, which is surprising given you've got this glass roof here and the sloping tailgate. Headroom for a 6-foot frame, pretty good. Legroom too, I'm impressed with that. And comfort levels are really good. That's because you've got these lovely contoured seats. Climate controlled air vents, twin USB-A ports, reading lights and an armrest with pop-up cup holders are in there. The back seat also slides, which is a nice touch. The ISOFIX child seat anchorages are easy to access as well. The Porsche is actually longer than the Audi, believe it or not, but you wouldn't know it sitting back here. Headroom is, well, not great. I'm touching the ceiling, and legroom isn't good either. My knees are more raised off the ground, and I think I'd rather be sitting in the back of the SQ5. Amenity is almost identical, with temperature adjustable rear vents, twin USB-C ports, reading lights, a fold-out armrest, but no sliding rear seats. Both cars feature power-operated tailgates, and while Audi claims to have a bit more space, our measurements show depth and width are pretty much identical, although the Audi does have a slightly wider boot aperture. Functionality in the Audi is pretty good, with tie-down hooks and netting, very good LED lights, twin bag hooks and useful elastic securing bands. The Porsche is much the same, with 4 tie-down hooks but only 1 bag hook, 1 elastic pocket and weaker lights. Both have space-saver spare wheels and folding rear seats for more space. The Audi has comfortably moved ahead, but can it keep up the pace on the road? This should be fun. Cue the pulse-pounding music. The Audi SQ5 may be powered by a diesel engine, but golly gee, this V6 has some serious firepower. There's loads of grunt right across the rev range, and I gotta say, that engine note is pretty raughty as well. It's more fun leaving it in gear and riding the colossal wave of mid-range torque than revving the bejesus out of it. This is one engine you do not need to redline. It feels planted and predictable on demanding roads, and those adaptive dampers firm up nicely in sports mode. It's got good body control, and there's a precision and agility to it, which is impressive for a chunky monkey. The steering is light but direct, and although there's not a huge amount of steering feel, the front end has loads of bite. Grip levels are bloody good thanks to Quattro all-wheel drive and Pirelli P0 tyres. She's a heavy bus, but the stoppers are powerful, and the brake pedal only needs a bit of a tickle to start engaging. Look, some people might find it a little bit sensitive, but you do get used to it, and it gives you extra confidence diving into corners a little bit deeper. Despite being such a sporty number, it's remarkably refined and delivers reasonably good levels of ride comfort and bump absorption. This actually helps mid-corner too, soaking up ruts and keeping things balanced. And now we drive the Porsche, and straight up it feels significantly more communicative. And a big part of that is this gorgeous steering system. It really does connect you with the carve. The Porsche just feels so tied to the road. Yes. The connection between car and driver is crystal clear, and the front end feels even more certain than the Audi. It's almost as if you're running your hand across the bitumen, such is the car's contact with the road and inherent balance. It really feels like the Porsche shrinks around you, which is due to the seats which grip your body tighter than the Audi's, and also the staggered Pirelli P0 tyres that deliver exceptional grip. Turbo-petrol V6 does not have the huge, effortless torque reserves of the Audi, but acceleration is more ferocious. When you pin it, this thing fires. And I love that optional exhaust system, barking and snarling like a junkyard dog. Although the Porsche's 7-speed PDK auto gearbox is 1 ratio shy of the Audi's, its dual-clutch nature gives it more direct response, and this suits the quicker revving engine to a T. The Porsche requires a firmer hand in terms of almost all inputs, and that is no more true than for the brakes. But while you do have to mash that pedal a lot harder, you'll be rewarded with greater stopping power as a result. Overall refinement levels are a little better in the Audi, but in terms of ride comfort, it's pretty much a draw, with the Porsche doing a great job of soaking up bumps and corrugations, whether mid-corner or on straight country roads. It's no surprise the diesel-powered Audi is more efficient both on the freeway and during high-intensity driving, but the chasm between them was quite shocking. The Porsche is really greedy. Overall, both cars are hugely entertaining to drive and are super capable on challenging roads. Such heavy and high-riding chariots shouldn't be this quick, but the Porsche is the pick in terms of dynamics and is simply a more resolved and engaging vehicle to drive. The Audi has a 5-year warranty versus the Porsche's 3-year coverage, and the Porsche also has significantly more expensive maintenance costs, so the Audi easily wins the after-sales battle. There's no doubt the Audi is an accomplished performance vehicle. Its burly diesel V6 delivering potent acceleration and much better fuel economy than the Porsche. The Audi has more equipment as standard and a roomier back seat as well. But the allure of a Porsche badge and the driver engagement that comes with it are compelling motivators. When you strip away all the options of this particular Macan, it loses none of its dynamic edge and is a more affordable proposition too. Like choosing between potato wedges or fries, no one is going to be disappointed with either of these scorchers. But the Porsche takes the win because it's a better all-round performance vehicle. Simply put, it's the one I most want to drive.